A special rally at the State House bringing people together to be a voice for victims of violence and sexual violence. Here's Cassidy Byer.
According to SCDVASA, South Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault, in 2022 there were almost 32,000 cases of domestic violence reported to law enforcement in our state.
It really motivated me as a prosecutor and as a victims' rights attorney to stand up and say, you don't have to be there alone.
Legal director at the South Carolina Victim Assistance Network, Sarah Ford, and her group are pushing for comprehensive support services and legal reforms to address the systematic challenges confronting victims of domestic violence.
If we're not putting our money in the hands of organizations and with victims and survivors, if we're not supporting them, then what are we doing?
The money given to those organizations is currently in the hands of legislators due to the Victims of Crime Act that may see funding cuts. And the director of member support and technical assistance for SCDVASA, Shannon Nix, says funding is necessary for survivors to seek help.
They're definitely one of the big issues that was spoken to today is the upcoming the cuts to VOCA funding, the Victims of Crime Act funding, which provides programming and staff at these places that help. They provide free, confidential, and compassionate, non-judgmental support to our victims and survivors.
These are essential services. These are not things that we can cut.
And if cuts come, Sarah fears what will happen for survivors.
That we won't have successful prosecutions will be diminished, that victims will be less cooperative, that they won't have the access to justice that they deserve. And I know that our state, we say that we want that. We've got to show victims and survivors in our entire state that we actually mean what we say.
In terms of the ones working for organizations and nonprofits funded by VOCA, they could soon see staff shortages due to inadequate funding, leaving logistical questions unanswered.
As director of member support, I support them directly, so it would be trying to figure out how do you do certain programming with reduced staff? How do you service clients, right? How do you run a shelter? Yeah.
The cuts could be as great as a $9 million decrease, leaving VOCA with $12 million in funds compared to $21 million in previous years.
It could be your family member, your friend, your neighbor. It could be you, right, who's being victimized or who's a survivor. So I think raising that awareness and, again, knowing what these resources are in our community, knowing where to go for support.
Reporting from Columbia, Cassidy Byer, News 19 WLTX.
Well, if you're a victim of abuse, sexual assault, or other acts of violence, you can reach out to the 24-hour crisis line.